Hello?
Hello, Mr. Coconut. This is your bank calling. We're reaching out because, once again, we've noticed some suspicious activity on your card.
Oh no, wait, again?
Yes, we reached out to you last year over suspicious charges which you claimed was your son buying Lego.
Oh yeah, that. What are the charges this time?
$2,000 of light bluish gray tile, $1,000 of dark bluish gray Lego bricks, $300 to a place called Pizza World, and a 3-year subscription to Muscleman's Smooth Skincare.
Oh, okay. That was a birthday party I threw for my son. As you know, he's into Lego.
You bought him a 3-year subscription of skincare?
What can I say? The little guy has expensive taste.
Well, I hope he's enjoying all those bricks.
Oh, he is.
Tell your son we said happy birthday. Have a nice day.
Who? Oh, right, yeah, of course. All right, have a nice day. Well, it's time for a new bank. What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios. Today, I'm going to be breaking down how much money I spent on my Lego Star Wars Battle of Coruscant Moc. Hopefully Mrs. Coconut doesn't see this one. I get asked all the time how much I spend on my large Lego MOCs and how I'm even able to build at such a large scale. And I can, thanks to today's sponsor, Raid. Shout out, no, I'm just kidding. Being able to build MOCs like Coruscant are a process years in the making, but we'll talk more about that later. Also, bear in mind, this isn't money all dropped at once. MOCs like this are made possible by consistent budgeting over long periods of time, and I'm making sacrifices in other areas of my life. I don't travel, I don't buy Lego sets, I don't go out to eat, I don't go to the movies very often. This is it. MOC building is my life right now. Currently, my Kato Nemoidia MOC is my most expensive project at $5,245 US, but I'm pretty sure Coruscant's gonna smash that, as the roads alone cost almost $1,000 to build. This is going to be a very rough, just for fun cost estimate of Coruscant because it's really hard to keep track of an exact amount over the course of such a long series. But in order to help organize and help me keep track of everything, I'm breaking it down into 4 categories. We've got parts, minifigs, vehicles, and miscellaneous. And hopefully this video will be of some help to any of you guys out there who are interested in building large-scale MOCs now or in the future, but have questions or concerns about the financial side of things. But I think the stage has been set, so let's get calculating. I'm gonna start with the worst category first, parts. Obviously, with any large-scale MOC project, parts are going to take up the majority of the budget. And in order to cut down on cost, I get most of my parts from Bricklink, which is an online secondhand and new market for Lego. I love Bricklink. It's got great variety, great prices, but it can be a little bit difficult to navigate and figure out, and hard to find the right stores that have the right parts at the right price. So, pro tip for any Bricklink users out there, I actually have a document where I write down the names of stores that have free shipping or that I really like, have good prices. That way I can remember to go back and visit them again in the future. So I went into my purchase history on Bricklink and added up all the orders that I could from the time that I started this MOC. However, this is where I ran into my first problem. Not every order I made on Bricklink was exclusively for Coruscant. There were other projects thrown in there, and I wasn't about to go through every single order and calculate what parts were and weren't for Coruscant individually. So I just added everything together and then subtracted a couple $100 to account for those side projects, because since starting Coruscant, I haven't really done any major side projects, just small stuff. And some of those parts were eventually used in Coruscant anyways. The other place I bought parts from is the online Lego Pick-a-Brick wall. This one was much easier to calculate because all of the orders I've made since starting this MOC have been for Coruscant. So I was able to get a more exact amount. So adding up the totals between Bricklink and the online Pick-a-Brick wall, I spent approximately $5,889 on parts.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Which, considering how much light bluish gray and dark bluish gray Lego I bought, isn't too bad. Next up, we've got minifigs. The biggest expense there were all the decaled minifigs. I decaled 46 clones, each one costing around $5, and then I also purchased some pre-decaled clones off of eBay for a total of $310 US. Now, I did buy a bunch of random citizen minifigs for the MOC, but those were on Bricklink, so they are counted with the parts estimate. So we're just gonna go with a total of $310 for the minifigs. Now for the third category, vehicles. This one may seem like it will pack a pretty heavy punch because in the MOC, I had 1 ATTE, 2.5 gunships, a Vulture droid, 2 CIS AATs, 2 Republic ATRTs, and a hover taxi. But all of these vehicles were purchased or built, with the exception of the 2 AATs and the hover taxi, before I started Coruscant. So they won't be counted in the cost of this MOC. But between those 3 vehicles, I think I spent maybe $10 on the hover taxi, and then the 2 AATs I think were like 40-ish, maybe $45 each, but I had some of the parts already, so we'll say like 35 bucks a piece. And then once again, those parts were all bought on Bricklink, so the price of the vehicles is going to be in with the parts estimate already. And here's another tip for mock building. Invest in commonly seen and used vehicles like gunships, AATs, and ATTEs, especially custom designs. You can source the pieces for much cheaper than a set, and you get a higher quality of build most of the times. Take for example the gunships I used in Coruscant. Those cost around $200 US to build, but an official gunship will set you back around $300 US these days, and the build is not as detailed. Now if you're like me and you don't necessarily want to design an entire vehicle yourself for a mock, there are tons of instructions on places like BrickVault or Rebrickable that will include a parts list as well to make sourcing the parts even easier. Oftentimes you can take those parts lists and plug them directly into Bricklink, and it will find the parts and right stores to buy from for you. You will need to purchase the instructions as well, but they aren't too expensive unless you're buying a big model like the ATTE. And last, we have the cheapest category, miscellaneous. This is basically just random purchases that I had to make throughout the series. I spent $56 on base plates, $35 on lights, and $80 on another table to elongate the mock, for a grand total of $171. Adding all those categories together, we get a grand total of $6,370 US, making Coruscant my most expensive project to date. But this is a pretty rough estimate, so I would say probably a range of $6,300 to $6,600 US. Now, to some people, that may seem like a ridiculous amount of money to spend on Lego, but it's important to remember this is a business investment for me spread out over a long period of time. People ask how I'm able to afford all this. Building mocks and making videos is my full-time job. This is how I make money, so the more parts I have, the more videos I can do with bigger and better projects, thus growing the channel even more and making me even more money. We all have hobbies and various things that we spend our money on. I'm just fortunate enough and blessed to be able to pursue my hobby as a career. And this was the result of a lot of hard work and time spent. If you look back on my channel, I didn't start with these massive complex projects. My first mock was on one 48x48 gray base plate, and it was not pretty. But over time, I slowly built up a strong foundation of parts, and with each new large mock project, I had more parts available to me, thus cutting down the cost of each mock. And I get this isn't for everybody, and everybody's situation is unique and different to them, but my advice for anybody wanting to get into serious mock building is invest in parts you can reuse. Plan multiple projects into the future to maximize your parts usage. After I finished Utapau, I planned another mock in dark tan and was able to reuse around 90% of the pieces in that mock. Also, creating a monthly mock budget can really help. It doesn't have to be a huge number right away, just as long as it's consistent. And evaluate other areas of spending in your life. You may not realize how much money you spend on Lego sets or fast food until you sit down and add it up. And cutting out unnecessary spending can mean adding even more money to your monthly mock budget. I know we kind of left the topic of the cost of Coruscant behind, but I wanted to tie that into a larger message of pursuing mock building and how to deal with the financial side of things. I hope you enjoyed the video and aren't sick of Coruscant yet, because in my next video, I'm going to be breaking down 5 things I would change about Coruscant if I were to do it again. And don't forget to let me know what you thought about this video, as well as my approach to mock building down below in the comments, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, happy building.